was going to say. Perfect. Disturbed would like to thank Hunt-A-Killer, Tweaked Audio, Podlife the Book, and Amazon.com, plus the contributors to the Southgate Media Group Patreon page for making tonight's show possible. I want to thank Chris. That's not Chris, but it is Chris for joining me tonight. And it is time for our... Oh, God. You think it's so smooth when you watch it at home, but it's really not. Theme music. Welcome to Disturbed. We are talking Season 9, Episode 6, the 100th episode. It's not our 100th episode. Is it their 100th episode? It is, right?
I believe so.
I don't know. I thought with the name it was going to tie into being the 100th episode, but I didn't see anything. Tonight we have a special guest. I have Chris. How do you say your last name, Chris?
Delgadillo.
Delgadillo. I would not have said it that way. So right. Chris is I'm going to call you a super fan because you were on watching us on YouTube last year. And today when Chris, the other Chris, wrote me and was like, "Oh, I'm sick. Oh, I can't." That's my impression of Chris. The first person I thought of was you. I was like,
thank you.
I know Chris wanted to jump on. So I thought, hey, let's do this thing. Let's have a little bit of fun with it.
Yeah.
So
thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. It's really my pleasure. I'm going to try and share this. Nope. There I am. Yeah, I'm going to try to get this to work. I'm going to try and share it on Facebook, but I can't seem to figure out how to do that. So let me see my sharing options here. And, there it is. Looks like it's going to my Facebook page. I can't seem to get anything to work tonight. We had to broadcast This Week in Geek from the Disturbed feed here.
I saw that.
So we were stuck with that. I could, and I have a This Week in Geek for Geek Vocal, but every time I signed out, it signed me right back into this. And the mixer didn't work today, even though the mixer worked all the way up until just before the show. So, yeah, it's all just a big train wreck. Welcome to the Disturbed train wreck, Chris.
The Disturbed train wreck. Let's do it.
So you have been let's talk about you for a minute. You have been an American Horror Story fan for a while, huh?
Yeah, since the beginning.
Yeah? So you watched every season?
Every season, every episode.
So you're ahead of me.
6 times.
I have not watched the one where they're in the asylum.
Season 3.
Season 3. What was season 2? No, season 3 was The Witches.
No, season 3 was Witches. Season 2 was Asylum.
Okay.
That was at Radcliffe.
Yeah, right. That one, I got through the first, I think, 2 episodes. And then, from listening to the show, my life gets crazy with all the school and everything.
Yeah.
Finally, this is the first year I don't have school. I'm teaching, but I can do that during the day.
Yeah.
That we're finally on track and we can actually do the show, I plan on going back. Chris and I have talked about going back and doing the first season and then doing Asylum, because I don't remember if Scott and Jeff did Asylum. I think they may have started on Coven.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yeah, Scott and Jeff started on Coven. But we were informed probably 4 episodes into season 2 that they were going to be joining the team for with Coven.
Okay. Because then Chris and I took over when the season with season 5. No, season 4.
Freak Show.
Did they only do one? Yeah, they only did one season. They may have started Freak Show, or we just jumped right in on Freak Show. But we've been doing it ever since. We love it. It's just been tough to get it under control, but we finally feel like we have it under control.
Yeah.
And I actually have been thinking about what I want to do. We always say we want to do this going forward. I think we actually I've ditched almost all my other shows. The only show that's pop culture is This Week in Geek and this. Those are my only 2 that I'm going to do going forward. And then my other shows are going to be, I have a creative show called The Creative Impulse. You heard it here first. It hasn't debuted yet. And then I have my business show, New Media Lab, which that's been a disaster too, because we had a book coming out. which came out today.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
I didn't
So
know
if you want to read, it's called Pod Life.
Pod Life. Okay.
Pod Life. It just went available today on Amazon. You can get it as either a Kindle or a physical copy, but I'm going to read what it says here. Thinking of starting a podcast or love listening to podcasts? Pod Life is a book about podcasters. So it's not a how-to, which is what all the other books are. Basically, It's kind of like chicken soup for the podcaster's soul. We just collected a bunch of stories from podcasters, why they podcast, how they got started, what keeps them motivated, which is a big one, and things they've learned along the way. What we actually got back when we did this book, we thought it was going to be a lot of how-to stuff and a lot of fluff, and it all came back like emotional stories.
Emotional, and informative. Like, wow.
Yeah,
that's
so
great.
That's what the book is, and it came out today. So, woo!
Oh, nice. I'll definitely go get it. My wife actually works at Amazon. So
nice. Nice. To order it, my suggestion: order it from orderpodlife.smgpods.com.
All right.
And as long as we're doing plugs, I got one more. This will be a really quick one. We just got a new sponsor.
Ooh.
So, this never happens. We have Amazon. We've had Amazon for a while. That one, you can go to amazon.smgpods.com. And if you click on that before you buy from Amazon, we get a little sliver of it. If your wife works for Amazon, she knows about the affiliate stuff. That's what it is. So that's an awesome way to support us without it costing you anything. But we picked up Hunt-A-Killer. Have you heard of Hunt-A-Killer yet?
I don't believe I have.
It's a subscription box. And what they do is they send you a mystery box that has like crimes in it that you have to try to solve before basically you get killed. Hunt-A-Killer it's like a really fast murder mystery subscription game.
Ooh,
we have a friend that has it. Cool. Man. We have a friend that has it that loves it. That's why I contacted him and said, "Hey, do you do affiliate?" And actually, we're one of the first affiliates they've taken. They wrote back and said, "Just this first group, here's this thing, and you're in that first pilot group." We're like, "Oh, this is awesome." Here's the other thing. One other reason we like it: proceeds from every box go to the Cold Case Foundation, which is one that funds cold case investigations. It was set up by John Douglas, the FBI profiler, who's the inspiration for Mindhunter.
Mindhunters. Yep.
Yeah, man. So that's it. And it also, if you order now, Hunt-A-Killer is an ideal murder mystery Halloween party because you can do it as a group, you can do it individually, you can do it as a party. But here we go. This is why I wanted to talk about it right now, just for the listeners of Disturbed. You can go to huntakiller.com, use the discount code Disturbed. It's the only show we have that has its own title or its own discount code for 20% off on your first box. Again, make sure that you use that discount code. It's Disturbed, and you'll get 20% off. And it shows support for our show. So there you go. It's totally worth trying, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
All that business is out of the way. All right. So this was episode 100. I thought there was going to be a lot of throwback stuff. There really wasn't. But what did you think of this episode?
You know, I like the way they went about it. You know, kind of like, okay, let's jump forward 6 months or a year, right? And see, okay, well, we know, Brooke got taken into custody. There's 3 new ghosts now on Camp Redwood. Mr. Jingles and Richard Ramirez bounced out of town.
It's funny how many things Chris and I got right last week.
Yeah.
I mean, I really thought we were going to, because we're usually wrong. And like we throw a lot of crap at the wall, and something's going to stick, but it felt like we got a lot right. Like we were saying, what if Jingles doesn't put up with Ramirez's stuff and they part ways? And the reason we don't see him is he's gone off. He did. He went to Alaska. Yeah. That was crazy.
He wanted to be normal, man. He just was like, you know what? I went through the craziness. I got blamed for something I didn't do. I ended up doing.
Did plenty on that last night, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make up for lost time now.
He put Xavier in an oven.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. Yeah.
I was waiting for him to come out charbroiled, and then okay, here comes Birdie with the save.
Right. You know who I was disappointed by? Not in this part. actually, let's finish up on that part. So he goes to Alaska. He's got a wife and a kid. She was a former hooker. Like his life is like she's going, hey, I have my demons, you have yours, whatever. And she must know his story, right?
Right.
She gets slaughtered by Ramirez. This was the point when I thought the show might go too far. It's the only time I've really been like, oh God, if they kill the kid.
Are they going to cross that line? Right. Are they going to cross that
line? It's like part of me was saying they should because they should go for it. The other part of me is going, don't kill the kid. That would be horrible. They showed us it's this baby. Thank God they didn't do it, man.
Part of me was like, okay, so if they do this, right, they're putting their own twist on the lore of Richard Ramirez.
Right.
Like never anywhere has it been accounted that he's murdered a baby, period.
Right.
And then so now it's like, okay, well, let's put this twist because he's in our universe, not in reality.
Yeah.
And give him that little extra edge.
Yeah. But that would have been, it would have been too much. I think it would have been too much. I think it would have turned people off.
I definitely believe it would have crossed the line.
As much as they're doing insane stuff, that was one where I'm like, please don't let that be the case, because that would have been just. Although it would have been great motivation for Jingles to go back.
Oh yeah.
Although I think he's got plenty, and I really liked how they handled it when he dropped the baby off, and he totally was like, he was Jingles again.
He's just like stone faced, like
yeah. And then when he walked away and he had the keys, I was like, this is awesome, man.
She was like, where is she? Where's Lorraine? Lorraine, where is she? It's like
she's dead.
She's dead.
Yeah,
like,
right.
What? No emotion. Like you just don't care anymore.
Nothing.
Okay, that whole life.
She's dead. Just tell the kid that I loved it more than anything. I'm out.
Yep.
Boop.
I'm out.
Peace. Yeah.
Take off in my little Corolla.
I loved it, man. I thought that was really cool. This is what I wanted to ask about. So last week we were talking about the ghosts, and we said, okay, you've got the 3 ghosts. We saw them in the trailer. What is it? Ray, Montana, and Xavier. Oh, and we're like, but there are other people that are there. And last week we were talking about the older campers. Here they were.
Yep.
But what about like the dudes that dressed up like Jingles? Where are they?
Where are they at? Right. Right.
You could say, well, only people killed by. Were all of them killed by Margaret? No. Ray was killed by Jingles.
And Montana was killed by Brooke. But Ray was killed by.
He was killed by Jingles. Jingles chopped his head off.
Yeah.
So
she killed Xavier.
So it would make no sense to not have those dudes, especially the chubby guy with the mask on. That it. I want to see him back. Yeah. And maybe we'll get that. But I thought it was weird that like we saw 3 campers. There have to be more. There were more killed. There were 3 that were in the. Those were the 3 I think that were in the 3-way at the beginning.
In threesome, yeah.
But where were all the girls? There was a ton of girls in there.
And did you notice that all 3 of them were wearing some form of white?
No. So they're angels. They are not killers like these other guys are. Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah,
it's possible. But I wonder what's going on with these other characters. Are they just going to ignore it, or are they going to give it to us? Which is what I hope they do. I really do. I really want to see those guys dressed in the Jingles mask, like out there, like, dude, what happened?
Right? Where were you?
But it was really cool when they did that jump. I did not. When they started doing the jumps, it didn't connect with me in that first one. I wasn't the first one did. It was the 89 one where I was like, oh wait, this is 89. Like they're going to flip back because they did the 1 year in advance. Mm-hmm. Then they went to 89. Then they went back, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. I thought that they did a good job of keeping that continuity going for all of that.
Yeah.
I really liked the Ramirez and Jingles driving around Los Angeles thing. I do wish that Ramirez had checked in at the murder hotel.
Yes. Yeah. Or just did a drive-by.
Do a drive-by. or yeah, just like
or
I
even
used to hang-
walking out.
yeah, hey, we got to go there sometime. That would have been enough. Like he's driving by with Jingles, like we got to go in there sometime because we know that he was there when he was training to be a killer.
Hmm.
You know, and
Which
Jingles
was
could have
only what, maybe 2-3 years before that.
right. So that would have been pretty cool. You know, you've got your 100th episode. Let's tie a few things in. But they didn't do it. They didn't give it to us.
They didn't give us hotel.
No, they gave us Jingles basically becoming the hero of that scene and getting Ramirez. I thought he was going to be beaten to death. I'm surprised they let him live. Oh, what do we have there? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Countess. Gotta love it, man.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. I don't have any pops from American Horror Story. I really wish I had a Twisty. I really wish I had it. Yeah, you're going to pull one up now, aren't you? Oh, yeah.
Yep. I've got the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive one too. I bought both of those out of box for $15.
Yeah, I drink a lot of coffee, so I try to buy characters with coffee cups.
Yep.
So if they could get a Twisty with a coffee cup, I would be a happy guy.
Right? Club in one hand, coffee in the other.
Yeah, that'd be great. You know, if I'm ever guest starring on this show, that's what's going to happen.
Right?
Chris will be standing behind me because he owns a coffee shop. He'll be the guy making the coffee.
Oh, nice. He'll be making you a little espresso in the background.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I always say I'm the smartest guy in the world. I made best friends with a guy that owns a coffee shop.
Yep, that's
you
true.
Feed that addiction.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, man, we'll be by in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, right.
You got it. Come on, beans.
Oh, I was harassing him when pumpkin spice. I'm like, where's the spice? He's like, not until this date. I'm like, and I would just send him all these things of the worm from Dune. I'm like, spice, where is it? He's like, are you a college girl? Because that's really who demands this. I'm like, yes, I am.
Like, yep. My wife says I'm exactly
really
the same.
Funny is I get like 4 or 3 a year. It's not like I get it every day.
Yeah. I'm
done. I had like 2 already and I'm done.
Yep.
Okay. All right. But then by next year I'll be like, where is it? The other one I love, there's a coffee shop in the city that Chris and I go to called Wormhole. Mm-hmm. They have, and Chris has this on his menu too, but down there is where we first had it. They have one that is ginger and curry. And it is delicious.
Is it?
Yes. My wife thinks it tastes like bile, but she doesn't drink coffee. So.
You guys are near Chicago?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah. I've got a couple of buddies that live down there. I'm going to ask them about that place. Yeah. Yeah,
Wormhole's cool. If they don't know Wormhole and they live out here, tell them to get their butts in there. It's got a DeLorean in the ceiling or like in the wall. The whole place is a geek coffee shop.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And they have really great stuff.
They're nerds. I'm sending them.
Oh, they'll go crazy. It's in Wicker Park. Tell them it's in Wicker Park.
Yeah. Wicker Park.
It's at the Dent Theater, and they can go to the Dent Theater and see cool shows and stuff there too. All right, back to our show. That was like a commercial break for coffee. Brought to you by coffee. Let's see. Let's go back. We had that first thing. We see him at the motel in LA. Ramirez wants to kill that woman. Jingles is not down with it. We now know that it's a year later because Jingles tells us that. And there have been 11 kills. And then we see Ramirez do a couple more.
Yeah.
And Jingles, he's tired of the metal music.
Yep.
Yeah. Although it's funny they keep referring to, Billy Idol like he's metal, and he was not metal. Right. But it's pretty funny. But that was great. He gets out of the car immediately, drinking his tab, listens to REO Speedwagon. I'm like, Jingles.
Yep. Jingles has got a soft spot.
And you terrible faced.
Yep. So his facial hair there. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I was like, what is that?
Yeah. Oh, his facial hair is amazing. You should do it. You could almost do it, man.
Oh, I could almost do it, huh?
Yeah, just get this right fill in right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he sees the paper that has Ramirez on it. He can't. It's in Spanish.
Can't speak Spanish, right?
But he sees it, and he's like, he goes right up to it. He's like, look in there. Yeah. And that was a phenomenal scene. Watching the whole town chase him down and beat him. I thought he was going to get away when he got to that woman. He started pulling her out of the car. I thought, he's going to get away and he's going to chase Jingles. Nope.
Yeah.
But I thought they'd kill him.
Right. I thought at least they would kill him. I mean, you saw the gangsters coming out with lead pipes and
But maybe it
Steel
was the
chains.
power of Satan that kept him alive again.
That's possible.
Because
That is
we
very
now
possible.
got the supernatural going on big time here.
Yeah,
We've got ghosts. We've got the devil.
we've got the devil.
Yep. Or maybe it'll turn out that it's the supreme. A scorned supreme is
Ooh.
the one that he's actually communing with, and he
Maybe.
doesn't know it.
Maybe.
Could be. Probably not, though. I don't think they've given us any clues to that yet. But Chris, you're here for a monumental moment. The return of, well, we'll say Cricket, but it's Courtney. But Cricket!
Yeah. Cricket. Oh, I was like, oh, yes.
I know.
I was like, there's the connection.
I immediately saw him, and I texted Chris. I'm like, oh, crap. Cricket is back. Now, do you think it's him? I mean, they use actors that are not obviously that character, but
right.
He's a charlatan.
Mm-hmm. I think,
and they made him younger here than he would be at Roanoke,
right? Because that's what, about 17 years in advance,
right?
Something like that.
And he's a charlatan. Now he does talk to spirits, but it could be because of what's going to happen in this next episode. Maybe he gets awakened to it, and that's why Cricket can do this, but Cricket becomes Cricket. I'm hoping that's what it is. This is a Cricket origin story.
Oh, I hope so.
They could have called this American Horror Story Cricket, and I would have been all in.
Yep. I'm like, okay, I'm sold.
Yeah, me too, man. I love him. Let's see. What else happened in this one? We're missing the elephant in the room. The Margaret storyline is amazing.
Yes. The fact that she's buying up property from every major serial killer in U.S. history is great.
The Gacy house isn't terribly far from us.
Yeah.
And it's up for sale right now, too. It's up for sale right now.
Here comes Margaret.
Did Chris and I talk about that on this show, or was that on a different show where we talked about the Gacy house?
I think that was
on this?
Yeah, it was on this because I was here.
Because both of us have been by the house. They make it look, now in that picture, that was the real Gacy house. Okay. Mm-hmm. The Gacy house was torn down. Obviously, right?
Yeah.
What is there now and what's getting sold is this brick thing that looks completely out of place. But when you drive through the neighborhood, it feels weird. And I'm sure it feels weird because in our heads, we're like, we grew up in Chicago when all this went down. We were at that age where it was like,
we knew what that house was.
Yes.
Like, you knew the real home.
And the people he was hunting were in our age group. So, did I tell you a story about my friend whose friend got eaten by Gacy? That's how he told us the story. He's like, well, I grew up in Gacy's neighborhood. Actually, before he said that, I'm doing an impression of this guy, and this is exactly how he sounds. But he said, when I were talking about weird stuff, and also he goes, my friend Davey was eaten by a clown. Like, what? He goes, hey, he's eaten by a clown. I'm like, what does that mean? He says, yeah, man, it was Gacy. We lived in the neighborhood. He goes, we lived like right down the street from Gacy. Gacy used to dress up as Pogo the Clown, and he said, yeah, he danced around on the front lawn, and kids would watch him. He did little shows for us in the neighborhood. And he said one day my friend Davey went disappeared, and it wasn't until years later that they found out he was still there, but in a crawl space.
In a crawl space. Wow.
Isn't that nuts?
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
To know somebody that knew somebody, that's like, whew.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very weird. I've got a few stories like that, but that one to me is a weird one. There was another one that I had about Gacy that a guy that I talked to about it. And once again, this is a friend of a friend story, but it was his experience. This guy I was talking to, he grew up in that area too. And he was like, yeah, there's these forest preserves around there. And he said, and I knew the forest preserve he was talking about because it was near where my wife's house was. And he said, yeah, we used to hang out there by that lake. And he said, Gacy was this weird guy that would drive in. He had, like he described the car and everything. And he said, we all knew he was a creep. We didn't know how much of a creep, but he said, we all knew who he was. And he said, the weird thing is he was in the passenger seat whenever he was in there hunting. Yeah. And Gacy always claimed there was somebody else. And everyone said that's a lie. But this guy said, no, there was somebody else in the car when he was out scoping. He goes, was he involved? We don't know. But there was somebody in the car with him when he was trying to pick up boys at the Forest Preserve.
Wow.
That's what this guy said. Pretty weird, huh?
That just gives you chills, like if you're just like standing there at the lake in the preserve and you see Gacy go by, but it's not him driving. You just
that was what they said. They said, no one knew what his name was or anything. They just knew it was the creep in the blue Impala or whatever. And they said it was when the story broke and you saw him in the news, like you immediately went, "Oh, that's the guy!" Like they all his friends were like, "Did you see he was on there?" That happened to us. That happened to my wife and I. I'm not going to give names or anything, okay? But there was a guy who shopped in our store. We used to own a store. There was a guy that shopped at our store that talked to us all the time and everything. We met to his family and everything. 10 years later, I'm downstairs. My wife's like, turn on the news. I'm like, what? She goes, turn on 5 right now. There's the guy. And it turned out he was a pedophile. And he was a pedophile with his son's friend. And we're like, that was when we had our store. That was when he was in our store because he used to bring that son. And that's the age they were talking about. We're like, oh my God. Evil was right in front of us and we were talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it was just an everyday conversation.
Yeah, man. So if you turn out to be weird, I'll have another story, but please don't.
Hey, you never know.
Oh, please. No. No, we're coffee buddies now.
Yeah. Coffee.
And we love cricket, man.
I love cricket.
So Margaret had amazing hair.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. That whole Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous segment was fantastic. I don't know. How old are you? Are you that age?
I'm 29.
You're not even close to that age. So for Chris and I, we grew up in the 80s. We were like teenagers going into college at that point. So shows like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, all that stuff, like 89, right in our wheelhouse. I was dating my wife at that point. And that was exactly what was on. Like they're nailing the time period. A lot of these shows, like Goldberg's, it's 1980 something, and we'll watch it and be like, yeah, that wasn't out. That was, that's close. This is right on. Everything we're watching, that would have been on the radio that year. That's exactly what somebody was wearing. Her hair was exactly the style. I think it was actually. Was it Ivanka Trump? What's I don't remember which one is his daughter. Ivanka might be his daughter. His other wife, one of his other wives, looked exactly like that. She had that hair. So it's pretty crazy.
Like, let me just mock her real quick and just put a wig on. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Trevor survived.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene was amazing too. When they did the flashback and you saw how he called her out and blackmailed her, and then she blackmailed him right back. And her plan, like she's so quick with the plan, and you're like, oh my God. Like, how do you stop her?
It's all premeditated. Everything with Margaret is premeditated. And it's like if you're on her bad side, you're on her bad side. It's like, and if you're not, you're still teetering.
Do you think that she's going to go back to Redwood? I mean, she was already there for this concert. Do you think she's going to get her comeuppance, or do you think she's going to get out of there? I mean, the ghosts are all wanting to kill her. Biggles was going there to kill her. Everybody's after her, but everyone's after her, but she seems to survive.
Yeah, but Brooke's alive. So
Brooke is alive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a great scene that was. Did you get a tweak of Reanimator there? I don't know if you're a Reanimator fan.
Yeah.
What they pumped into her, it wasn't glowing as much as the Reanimator fluid, but as soon as she started doing it, I'm like, oh, they're doing Reanimator.
Yeah.
She pops up and Rita, that's all we can call her.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to Redwood. Oh my God. That was great. It was great.
Yeah.
They're like hitting all the right buttons from those 80s slasher movies too.
Yeah.
To me, it's not like boring. I'm getting surprised over and over, which doesn't usually happen with this stuff.
Yeah, except but this season they're hitting it on the like the nail right on the head.
They really are. Now they did announce that there's only going to be 9 episodes this season. Did you hear that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we got 3 left.
Down to the wire now. But it's
Yeah,
going to
man.
end right before Thanksgiving.
Yep. And what's his name? The one from the first season from Murder House.
Bill Dermott.
Dermott
Bill
is going to
Dermott.
be back on. I don't know. They're announcing
How's
it
that
now,
gonna
and it's like, well, didn't they already shoot all this stuff if they've only got 3 episodes left? There was another rumor that Sarah Paulson was going to come back, but then if you read the article, she's not coming back.
She ain't coming back.
No. I think that the Dermott one is going to be the big surprise, and I have a feeling it's going to be a non-issue. I have a feeling it's going to be one of these things like they end up at the murder house and he like answers the door or something.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Or lets one of them in.
Yeah. Although it would be really cool. It would be really cool if they tied it in somehow to the camp. Like, because he's a ghost at this point too. He's stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how they could do that.
I wonder if there's some type of astral plane in this American Horror Story universe where they can go across.
Well, you know what? I just realized.
And
I mean, this is the same concept that they gave us in Murder House, and when they did it in not last season, the season before, and they showed us the Murder House and how he was still there and he was, crying in the window and all that stuff. And we got all that resolution from Murder House. I don't think they're going to jump all the way forward to that point, but maybe they will. Maybe whatever mojo is happening here happens at Murder House, and that's how we get our tie-in. Because they have said all 10 seasons, there is a thread, and you're going to understand it when you see it.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely I thought we were going to bring this up when we were talking about Margaret, but did you see the properties that they showed photos of that she was trying to sell?
Yeah, it was Gacy's place, the Winchester House, Briarcliff Manor, and then the Spawn Ranch, the Manson one.
The Manson one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think in some way, I was theorizing this every time I've watched this episode, which has been about 4 times today. What if the final season is gonna tie everything together, but instead of being in like a Dante's Inferno, what if each person that's playing these characters is actually trapped in a separate room of the Winchester Mystery House, and this is them trying to get out, but they're actually going through Dante's Inferno.
That's an interesting idea. That might be it. See, I was thinking that what we were getting was I wasn't thinking this. It wasn't until I started talking about it that I was thinking that it was going to be something that maybe, however this works, they buy the Murder House, and that's what opens this floodgate of ghosts. But the Murder House was already there. Maybe there's some kind of tie there. Maybe it goes back further than what happened at the camp, and we find out that something that happened in the Murder House, because he was performing those abortions and that, maybe they buried one of the bodies at the campground, and that's why it opened this thing up. Or maybe there's some tie with Ramirez. I don't know. But you could be right. It could just be we're going through the levels of hell, because they have equated the series to that, how it's gluttony and although what would this season be?
Right.
We're way past 7 Deadly Sins.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, before we go any further, Carrie is one of our fans, and she just wrote on Get Vocal here. Did you guys already talk about how you felt about this episode being the 100th episode? Kind of. Let's talk about that for a second.
Right in between.
First of all, yes. Awesome that it's the 100th episode. It means we've got 100 episodes of awesomeness. Even the stuff that's not great is great. I'm disappointed that they didn't do more with it being a 100th episode. But right. I thought it was a great episode. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was a good episode in the context of the season. Maybe not so much the series, because if they were going by, every other series has done this on the 100th episode, they will try to tie in loose storylines. So, okay, well, tell us and show us how everything's connected. They did put some hints in there, though.
I would have liked some more cards flipped in this one. that maybe don't even get resolved until next season, but something that was a little more tangible to grip onto. But now that we're talking about this ghost stuff, maybe that was the card flip. Maybe when we see Dermot in the last episode, which is what I'm guessing, in the last moments, we'll realize, oh, this whole ghost thing we just saw play out. This thing with Ramirez, it's all tied back to this. And then we get the 10th season, and they've already said it's another witch season.
Right.
And maybe the Supreme has to deal with that.
Everybody
He's saying
that's
it's
stuck in
Satan, but
purgatory.
who knows if it's Satan? It could be Zool, I'm Zool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Carrie said, me too. I agree that it was a good episode, but the hype over it, tying stuff together, was a disappointment. It truly was.
Yep.
But maybe it wasn't when we get a little further. Maybe it just is in the moment. I don't know.
Yeah. I think they're trying
Cricket
to just give us little Easter eggs. Yeah. Cricket was there. Cricket was part of the tie-in.
Cricket's the game. It could be this entire thing was a cricket show, a cricket origin story. The entire series.
Right? And they're going to make the last season. It's coming out. Okay. Here I am.
I've got my tab. What was it he drank? Was it
Tab.
Is that what he drank? I know he had a mint julep or something, but what was the soda? Was it a tab?
A tab, yeah.
Because that's what Jingles drank too.
Yep.
Huh. All right. You're
going to tab it out.
Hey, don't forget, there's lots of opportunities in VHS too. So
yeah.
That was a great one, especially when you think about. Carrie said it was tab also. When you think about the audience for this, there are. I don't know if you know this, but I listen to a lot of different podcasts, and I tend to fall into this jag of listening to podcasts about old VHS movies. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of really good ones where they talk about like horror from the 80s, how you can only find this stuff on VHS. The bin, the grind bin or something is one of them I listen to. There's one, VHS Bandits, and I'd have to look. I'm probably getting them all wrong, but I love them all. Grindhouse Bin, I think that's the name of it. So when they were doing this whole thing with VHS, and then she's naming horror movies, I'm like, yeah, man, that is exactly the audience you have here, because this season is all about that.
Yeah, it's all about the 80s. It's all about horror. It's all about when the slasher became the slasher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mentioned on the one episode that I was listening to that Friday the 13th one. What is it? Something Voorhees. Do you remember this? Come on, Chris. You're supposed to be my chronicler here. In Voorhees We Trust.
Yeah. Okay.
So I finished that, and then I moved on to Welcome to Haddonfield, which is one all about Michael Myers. Yeah. And it's different hosts. I really like it. And it was funny. I was listening to it yesterday, and they had a guest, like you're a guest on this. And all of a sudden they said the guy's name, and I'm like, wait a minute. I know him. Turns out it's a guy who I know, who I talk to on Facebook pretty regularly because I run these podcast groups. But he goes by the name Rip online, but his name is Rich. So they kept talking about this Rich guy, and then all of a sudden I'm like, ding! So it was pretty Cool to hear Rip, whatever, on Welcome to Haddonfield. I recommend it. It was a good time.
Yeah. Okay. That's another one I
still say I love Oh the Horror. If you guys haven't heard that one, that's an awesome show.
Oh the Horror is a good one. There was another one I wanted to recommend to you.
Oh, you got one, huh? All right. Looks like I'm pulling it out. The Grind Bin podcast. That's a good one. Let's see. That's all I can find on here right now. What can I do?
Do you listen to Cult Classic Horror Show?
No. What's that?
They're good.
They're good. We're going to have to give all these people shout outs here. Cult Classic
Horror Show.
I see the Cult podcast. Oh, here it is. Ooh, 229. It's a good show. All right, man. I'm going to check that one out too. This month, League of Geeks has been doing their 31 Days of Horror. I keep seeing other people do that now, but they were the first ones I saw that actually did it a few years ago. If you haven't heard that, a little of the guys on there do a really good job. It's called League of Geeks, and it's Geeks with a Z. Yeah, I was a guest. I think Chris was a guest. Oh, I know Chris has been a guest. We've been guests on it a few times in past years. I mean, Chris did the first one for this season. He and Lil talked about It Too, which to them, I think it needed an SH before that title. They didn't care for it at all. Chris liked it more than a Lil. And then I just listened to one where they talked about the new Chucky movie. Not a fan. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. But yeah, check those out. Those are all good ones if you like horror stuff. It's a good time of year to check that stuff out. It's a good time of year to do Hunt a Killer too. Use that coupon code Southgate. Keep pumping it. All that stuff is in our show notes. So, so what else? What did we miss in here? Ramirez summoned the devil. Brooke's alive. Brooke gets killed. Brooke's alive. Lorraine is dead. She's very dead. Baby's alive. Let's see. Jingles coming back. We got that. Margaret opening the camp up for a music and food festival is amazing.
Amazingly
disturbing. Yes. Welcome to Disturb. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Was there confirmation that the hotel was the hotel from Season Hotel? Which hotel are you talking about? The one, if you're thinking the one that, no, there wasn't a hotel in this one.
Mm-mm.
Unless, wait a minute.
Or is he talking about
where Margaret
the hotel?
Where did Margaret?
Or is he talking about the? No. What if she's talking about the hotel that Ramirez and Jingle were in, and Ramirez tried to kill that German lady right in the beginning? What if that's hotel?
That didn't look like the hotel. That was a motel.
No,
it wasn't, because it said it was a motel. Then they showed inside that it was a motel. So that wasn't the same. So no, that was not the hotel. But we're wondering, see, I'm telling you, they missed an opportunity here. They should have had Ramirez mention that he had been there. You want to know where I learned how to do it? Right there.
Right there.
Want to know where I met Satan? Right there.
Right there.
That would have been amazing. Yes, the hotel where Ramirez and Jingle were in. No, that was a motel. So, but you're right. It did in the trailer. I thought it was going to be the hotel. And there was something in this one that kind of fooled you where you were like, I think it was right when they got in the motel and they were laying there. And I was like, there was something, but I wonder, did we see what building Margaret's office was in?
No.
I would be interested to look at where the Countess was, because they had some funky penthouse rooms.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's a tie-in that we just didn't catch, because it might not be decorated the same way.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. The hotel happened. What the timeline of hotel was 2015. And then it went 2015, 2010. And then obviously the jumps for, oh my gosh, does it mention that? Lady Gaga coming in, because it hopped back to the 20s for that. With March, and then it hopped straight back to the 80s with Elizabeth.
Okay.
And then it went from there, it went forward. So there's a possibility that
that there's
it could be tied in with
Ramirez as a character twice, and that they didn't tie it together. I think that's strange. Yeah, you're muted. There you go. I think that's really strange. They haven't tied them together.
But they used two different actors for this.
Well, right. So, but that might not be an issue.
Right.
I'm not concerned about that. It's more the character, because they clearly show it's the same person. It's Ramirez in both of them. And I really think it would have been cool if they had the Zodiac show up in this.
Yeah, well, see, the theory, I was talking to people about it. The theory was Jingles is going to be Zodiac.
I'm the one that said that.
Yeah, and
That was
then
my theory.
so
But now we found out he's not. He's a nice guy. But maybe he is. Maybe he leaves the camp and becomes Zodiac.
it's possible. And then that's how they tie Hotel Murder House in.
Have your final scene, Jingles leaving the camp and pulling a hood over his face after he's infected with Satan. He has been brought back by Satan.
Right. But he's not controlled or possessed by Satan like
Right.
Ramirez.
So maybe that would be an interesting twist there. Who knows?
Maybe Satan goes, you're just, a temporary toy. Next. That's what I really wanted.
Yeah, I thought you were twisty, but you're not. Okay. I think we got it all. I think we did it. All right, man. Yeah. Let's wrap this one up. But now I got to find my closing music again. So a couple of real quick things. Do you have any social media, Chris, that people can follow you on?
Just Facebook at, Chris Delgadillo. Instagram, Chris Delgadillo 310.
All right. Follow him. Yeah, man. Follow him. Get in a conversation with him. He'll tell you about podcasts he likes. And and then you can follow me at R Southgate, the show at Disturbed Pod. In fact, we aligned everything. It's all Disturbed Pod now. Instagram, our website. Our website now, you go to Disturbed Pod. I think it's disturbedpod.smgpods.com. It'll take you right to our website, which I just revamped today. And we put all the links in the show note. We have that link tree in there so you can find everything. And we have our new sponsors with Hunt a Killer. And use that coupon code Southgate. Order it before Halloween. This is your big chance. Get that 20% off. And with the Amazon thing, if you use amazon.smgpods.com, we get a kickback. If you use that when you go to shop, go in, you'll pay the same price you normally would. It doesn't affect anything except we get a little bitty slice as a thank you to us, which is awfully cool. And then Tweaked Audio, if you need headphones, use the coupon code. Guess what it is? Southgate. And you get 30% off lifetime warranty and free shipping. So that's awesome too. Yeah, it's a good deal. And those headphones are awesome. And then the last thing, Pod Life, the book, came out today.
So as we're out here, I'm going to go buy it.
Yeah, man. The paperback is, I think it's $16, but you get a free Kindle with it.
Oh, okay.
And we made the Kindle so it's shareable. So if you're like, hey, I bought it and you want a friend to check it out, you can do that. So yeah, it's well worth it. And Chris, if you do order it, let me know. Maybe we'll figure out a way that we can get you a signed copy or something.
All right.
I can't get it signed by all 35 people, but I can get it signed by me and my wife and my kid.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll definitely help you out if we can. But if you're going to order one, yeah, man, just let me know and we'll work something out. Okay. Right. Harry, that goes for you too. See, I'm such a nice guy. All right, let's end it. That's it for Disturbed. We don't really have an outro on this one, other than I guess go back to your cabins, right?
Yeah, go back to your cabins.
We could go with what Carrie just said. Thank you and good night.
Hey.
Nah, I got one.
Yeah.
Right after the song. False ending. Here it is. Cricket's back.
Love it.